Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Aditya and today I'm going to be talking about how you can apply full-time jobs here in Denmark if you're from India or abroad. So you don't necessarily have to be in Denmark physically in order to apply for full-time jobs. So let's get started. So this video is divided into 6 different steps. So I'm going to be taking you through different steps. Step 1. Step 1 is getting your international education and qualification assessed in Denmark. According to the Danish standard, they would like to know that your education that you have done is meets the standard of Danish education system. So this won't be valid for most of the time, because if most of the time people who want to apply jobs in Denmark directly have already many years of experience. So people like that, and also depending on company, if you're applying in big companies, some company may ask, some company may not, so it's nice to have. So especially for the people who will come to Denmark and maybe they want to study their masters or something else, so they need to have these documents assessed according to the Danish standards. So in order to assess these documents, your education and qualification, you need to go on to the website called Ministry of Higher Education and Science. So let's look at the first step. You have to go on this website called Ministry of Higher Education and Science. I will keep the link in the description so you can easily find that. So once you're on the website, you scroll down and you click on assessment of your recognition of foreign degree and qualifications. Once you're in, you can see on the left side there's different categories, so you click on job search, and once you're on that side, so you scroll down a little bit and click on the get an assessment of your age qualifications. So once you're on this page, you can see all the conditions and requirements that you need to fulfill in order to do this assessment. So on the left side you can read all about that, conditions and stuff. But you can then, if you scroll down a little bit, then there's a online application you can submit. So if you have to submit an online application, then you need to sign in with your name ID. Name ID is like a social security number here in Denmark. So most of the times, I think more often than not, you won't be able to do this because you're first time coming to Denmark. So and unless if you know someone in Denmark who can do this on behalf of you, so they can log in through name ID. Or also you can send a PDF application, so you just click on also you can download a PDF form. So that would be an ideal method you would be applying for the assessment. So here is all the requirements that you need to do. So you have to send a letter by post, or you can send it digitally, where you have to scan all the original copies. In some countries, like the documents, for example, here you can, if you scroll down a little bit, there's some countries that you have to submit original hard copy. They might ask you, for example, Pakistan, China and Syria, they have to, you have to read it carefully. So for India, for example, it's all right, so you can submit a scanned documents. And most of the times all the documents, it would be nice if it's attested, like you have a postal stamp, so it's recognized. So, and if it's in English, that would be nice, because they will not assess your documents if it's not in English. So you can see on the left hand side there is also a condition called translation. So once you have all this information ready, you can send your documents to Ministry of Higher Education and Science to get assessment, and they will do the assessment in 4 to 8 weeks. So the step 2 is doing a little research about how the job market is in Denmark. Right now it's really booming with IT industry, and if you're a doctor or a healthcare worker, but especially in IT, because I'm also from IT background. I work as a web developer in the company. So right now there's a lot of opportunities for IT people. So do a little research, what kind of skills you have and what kind of jobs there are available. If you're doesn't have to be in IT, you can do research about all the other fields that are available. There are so many: marketing and online marketing, and a lot others. So you do a little research about where these kind of job mostly located are geographically, especially when people come to Denmark. So a lot of people, international people, they tend to move to Copenhagen because it is more like, a lot of international people move there, and a lot of opportunities for international because all the international companies are there. But that's not necessarily the case all the time, because I live in Aarhus, and it's the second biggest city in Denmark, and it is very also international. So you can do a little research and figure out, which companies you would like to work, and where are their, departments, IT departments or whatever. So once you've done this research, then you can figure out where you might apply, which company you might apply to. Before we go forward, it's important that, if you're getting any value from this video, please like and comment and subscribe to my channel, because it really helps. I work as a full-time developer, and I really don't get a lot of time to make such videos. So I'm trying really hard here to help you guys. So please subscribe to my channel, then so I can bring more content like this. So let's look at the third step. So third step is the CV and cover letter. It's very important that you have a CV according to the Danish standard. What do I mean by Danish standard? So Danish standard CV is like, you have a professional photo on your CV on the left side, or it can be whatever. There are so many layouts available online. I'll write a link in the description. You can look at it. I'll also link my CV and cover letter, so you can have an example to look at it. So it normally has a short description and a nice photo. So make sure you have a photo, because first time when I come to Denmark, in first 2-3 years, I applied jobs without the picture, without my photo on the CV, and a lot of people they got confused about my name. They thought I was a girl because it sounded like my name is Aditya, and it sounded like that I was from Estonia or something. So yeah, I got that feedback from the during the interview when they were surprised. They thought it was going to be a girl who's going to be showing up. So after that, I started putting my picture on my CV, so they know that it's a guy, and it also gives you a good impression. You're doing that and putting a professional picture. So and it has a lot of a little bit of introduction about yourself, and then you have your educational experience, job experience, and recommendations. It's important to have recommendations there, because if you're applying jobs in other country, they actually don't know you unless you have connections here, and also you don't have an education from Denmark. So they don't have, they have to do some background check, or they need someone's word. So it's nice to have recommendations. Most of the times it won't matter unless the company wouldn't care. If you're good profile, good candidate, they will just contact you. But it's important to have it. So once you have that, it is very important to have a cover letter. In Denmark, cover letter is called Ansøgning. In English, it's called application. So it is very, very important, because sometimes in quite a few job interviews I went to, they asked me some questions which were already answered in my CV. But I asked them, didn't you read my CV? They said, no. Then I found out that a lot of people didn't even bother to read the CV, because they thought the application was interesting, and then gave them an idea of what I can do, what are my skills. So they just called me for an interview. So, and they were going through the CV while we were having a chat, an interview, the first round. So it is very important in Denmark that you write a cover letter, and it also shows you your motivation to apply for the job. So what do you put in the cover letter? So in the cover letter, you have a company's name on the left side and your name on the right side on the top, and then a date you're applying, and then the name of the company you're applying to. So make sure you read the job ad and figure out what are the skills and requirements they are looking for. So you took 1 or 2 skills from that, and you put that into your cover letter and make it on your own. Like, for example, if you say you're analytical, if they're looking for someone who has this analytical skills or some other skills, for example, then you can take that skill and say, okay, when I get and then you make an example saying, when I get a big task, difficult task, you would like to split that into small different problems and focus on each individual problems and try and, so that's my analytical way of solving the problem. So you can make up stuff, not make up, but you can do stuff like this, take a skill and explain how you solve that, how you are good at that skill. So by doing that, make sure you only have 2 or 3 important ones, and you also mention why you are applying to that company and why you are a good candidate. So these things you need to have in your cover letter. So once you've done that, so it's important that you convert that into a PDF while sending it. So don't send the Word files. It's not very professional because a lot of people have problems opening the Word files. So yes, that's about cover letter and CV. So step 4 is applying via platform, the job searching platforms. So there are so many platforms for applying jobs in Denmark. So I'll mention them in the description so you can look at it. So once you have that, you go onto their website. There's for example IT job banks or JobNet or Indeed or Head Start Career, which is like important for international because you get all the job ads in English in that website. So make sure you check that out. So once you have that, you go and you create your profile. You fill out the profile, you put a nice picture, and then you start applying jobs there. So step 5 is actually a part of step 4, but I put that as a separate step because it's very important. LinkedIn is most used platform for hiring in Denmark. So it's very important that you have a LinkedIn profile. So make sure you go on LinkedIn, and if you don't already have a LinkedIn profile, create the LinkedIn profile and you put a nice picture. Make sure you have a professional picture there, not your selfie. So that just gives you a good impression. So first impression is the last impression. So you want to make sure that it's really good. So you have a nice, so make sure you have a nice picture, you have a nice text explaining about yourself, and then you have to fill out your education and job experience. So when you fill out the job experience, make sure you have to you write at this for example, at this company I was responsible for this kind of job task, and what did you learn from them. So one point, I was responsible for this project management, and what did you learn from it? You can write that. So make sure you fill that out like that. And if you have any volunteer work, it's nice to have, because people in Denmark really like people who have this kind of stuff in their CV, which separates them from other people. So you fill that out. So references, it's very important to have references in your LinkedIn profile. So you can easily get that from your colleagues you're working with, or your team leader, or your boss for that matter. I think it's very easy to fill out. All you need to do is choose a person that you want a recommendation for, and you send them that message on LinkedIn. It's very easy. So you do that. So you probably have references. It's nice to have, because when employees here are looking, or also headhunters, they go through all this whole of your profile and see who are you connected with, and recommendation, what people wrote and stuff like that. So it's nice to have that. Also, if you have a nice video, it's very modern these days that a lot of people have their video CV. You can also create that, make a video and upload that on YouTube, or link that to your LinkedIn profile. It's also nice to have. So you can also add me as your LinkedIn connection for any help. So I'll put a link in the description, so you can also connect with me. So next thing is you start looking for connections in Denmark or companies. So that brings me to the next step. So step 6 is applying jobs into the companies that you really want to work for. On the side, it's important that you keep applying other jobs, but you probably have done research by now, and then you want to work in a specific company, for example Legos. So what you want to do is get the contact information for the Lego people, the department you have to work in. For example, if you want to work as a software developer at Lego, then you figure out who is the department head there. You can probably do that easily by searching and then looking for older job ads. You probably find the contact information there. It's important when you call these big companies, they have a HR departments, and don't go there, because when you call the HR department, they don't give you the complete picture, and sometimes they don't even transfer your calls. They just want to talk to you, and then you don't know what's gonna happen. So it's important that you figure out the person you want to talk to, and you call them. Or if you're not in Denmark, or if you can call them, or most importantly write them an email, or on LinkedIn. You probably find them on LinkedIn. So when you write them, you ask them for a virtual coffee meeting for 5 or 10 minutes. It's very normal in Denmark to do that. So they get to know you as a person, and what kind of profile you are, and what kind of jobs you're looking for, and maybe who knows, that you might get lucky and get hired. So make sure you make a list of the companies you want to work for, and then you find the people who are responsible for a particular department and call them or write them on LinkedIn, but don't call HR. Yeah, that's a pro tip. So I have learned that the hard way. So that was all the 6 steps, but I have some tips that I would like to share with you. So first of all, a lot of people have questions like, when they want to come to Denmark, should they, is there a problem with the language? Of course, if you're coming to Denmark, English is not the first language is used, but there are so many international companies here, especially if you're in IT, or you're a doctor or whatever. But then if you're a doctor or teacher, you have to go through some other process, but still, especially if you're in IT. So there are so many international companies, so you don't have to worry about language barriers, and you can learn Danish easily for free. That's your right once you come to Denmark. So you can get registered into the language school. Then you can 2 times a week in the evening, you have 2 hours, 4 hours in a week, so classes. You can learn in Danish if you want to. And then the next point is like, if you get so many rejections, don't get discouraged, because I have applied so many jobs and got rejected so many times. So every time you get a rejection, ask them for your feedback. What did you do wrong? If there was something wrong with the CV application, or is the skills that you don't have. And if you really want to work for some specific company, you ask them what skills are you looking for. Then in the meantime you can improve those skills. So last thing I would like to say is, like Steve Jobs said, stay hungry and stay foolish. Now stay hungry for the opportunities, keep trying, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And foolish, be foolish about, don't be embarrassed about asking stupid questions. There is no such thing as stupid questions. So if you have any problems you don't understand, you ask them, especially when you call or write to the people. So you ask them. So there's nothing stupid about it. So you are learning. The more you ask, the more you're learning about it, the process. So thank you for watching. See you next time.